Hey everyone, Maya here, and let's talk about Bitcoin. If you've been following along, you know it's been a roller coaster. Remember back when Bitcoin was skyrocketing towards $110,000? Everyone was saying it was going to the moon. But then, bam, it crashed down to $74,000. A lot of people panicked, but you know what? Some analysts actually predicted this entire move. And now these analysts are looking ahead, using their charts and fancy algorithms to predict where Bitcoin might be headed next. Some of these predictions are pretty wild, with Bitcoin potentially hitting $250,000 or even higher. Now, I'm not saying you should base your entire investment strategy on these predictions, but it's definitely interesting to see what the experts are thinking. So, in this video, we're diving deep into the minds of 6 top Bitcoin analysts to unpack their predictions and see what the future might hold for this crazy cryptocurrency. We'll break down their methods, their reasoning, and most importantly, their price targets. Make sure you stick around until the very end, because some of these predictions are absolutely wild. First up, we've got Bitquant, a mysterious but highly respected analyst known for his mastery of the Elliott wave theory. Now, if you're not familiar with Elliott wave, it's a form of technical analysis that looks for recurring patterns in the price movements of financial assets. Basically, it suggests that market psychology and therefore price moves in predictable waves. Bitquant believes that Bitcoin is currently in the midst of a major upward wave, and he's not just saying that, his charts back it up. He points to specific price levels and timeframes where Bitcoin has historically followed Elliott wave patterns. And his analysis suggests that this current wave could take us all the way to $145,000 by the end of this year. That's right, a cool $145,000 per Bitcoin within the next few months. Now, while Bitquant has been incredibly accurate in the past, remember that even the best analysts can get it wrong. The market is unpredictable, and there are always external factors that could come into play. But what's interesting about Bitquant's analysis is that it aligns with the overall sentiment we're seeing from several other analysts. It seems like there's a growing consensus that Bitcoin is gearing up for another major bull run. Of course, the timing and the exact price targets may vary, but the overall trajectory seems to be pointing upwards. Now, I know what you're thinking, Graham, this sounds too good to be true. And you know what? You might be right to be skeptical. After all, we've seen Bitcoin go through these cycles before. Massive hype, parabolic price increases, followed by brutal crashes. But here's the thing, Bitcoin is still a relatively young asset, and it's constantly evolving. The technology is improving, institutional adoption is growing, and more people are starting to understand the potential of decentralized finance. Next, we've got Michael Howe, a former Wall Street trader turned crypto analyst. Michael's approach is all about liquidity, the availability of buyers and sellers in the market. He argues that the influx of institutional money into Bitcoin is creating a liquidity squeeze, which is essentially pushing the price higher. Think about it like this, when there's more demand than supply, prices go up, right? Well, Michael believes that the same principle applies to Bitcoin. As more institutions buy and hold Bitcoin, the supply available on the market decreases, making it more scarce and driving up the price. He points to the recent moves by companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla, who have added billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to their balance sheets. These institutional investors are in it for the long haul, which means they're not selling anytime soon. This long-term holding strategy is further constricting the supply and creating upward pressure on the price. Based on his liquidity analysis, Michael is predicting that Bitcoin could reach $250,000 within the next 3 years. Now, that's a bold prediction. But Michael backs it up with solid reasoning and a deep understanding of market dynamics. He doesn't just throw out random numbers, he carefully analyzes market data, institutional investment trends, and global macroeconomic factors to arrive at his conclusions. Of course, like any prediction, this one comes with its fair share of caveats. Unforeseen events, regulatory changes, or even a shift in institutional sentiment could impact Bitcoin's price trajectory. Now, let's move on to CryptoB, a popular technical analyst known for his in-depth charts and accurate predictions. CryptoB lives and breathes technical analysis, spending hours each day poring over charts, identifying patterns, and using various indicators to predict future price movements. He's like a modern-day Nostradamus, but instead of cryptic quatrains he uses MACD, RSI, and Fibonacci retracements. And based on his latest analysis, CryptoB is feeling extremely bullish on Bitcoin. He sees a clear path for Bitcoin to reach $200,000 by the end of this year, and he's not just saying that, he's got the charts to prove it. CryptoB points to the recent breakout above the key resistance level of $60,000, which he believes is a strong indication of further upside potential. He also highlights the bullish momentum in other on-chain metrics, such as increasing hash rate and growing network activity, as further evidence that Bitcoin is in a strong uptrend. Now, while technical analysis can be a powerful tool for predicting price movements, it's important to remember that it's not an exact science. There are always exceptions to the rules, and sometimes the market just doesn't behave the way we expect it to. But even with those caveats, CryptoB's track record speaks for itself. He's consistently called major Bitcoin price moves in the past, and his analysis is always well-researched and thought out. So when CryptoB says Bitcoin is going to $200,000, it's definitely worth paying attention. Let's talk about Arthur Hayes, the former CEO of BitMEX and a well-known figure in the crypto space. Arthur is known for his contrarian views and his ability to see things differently than the crowd. While some analysts are cautiously optimistic, Arthur is going all in on Bitcoin, predicting a price of $250,000 by the end of this year. Yes, you heard that right. $250,000 per Bitcoin within the next few months. Now, before you dismiss Arthur as just another crypto hype man, it's important to understand the reasoning behind his prediction. Arthur believes that we're on the cusp of a massive paradigm shift in the global financial system. He argues that central banks around the world are printing money at an unprecedented rate, devaluing fiat currencies and creating a massive need for alternative assets like Bitcoin. In Arthur's view, Bitcoin is the perfect hedge against this inflationary environment, and he believes that institutional and retail investors alike will flock to Bitcoin as a safe haven asset. He predicts that this surge in demand will dwarf the current supply, leading to a rapid and substantial increase in Bitcoin's price. Now, Arthur's prediction is definitely on the more aggressive end of the spectrum, and it's important to note that he has a vested interest in seeing Bitcoin succeed. However, his analysis is rooted in a deep understanding of macroeconomics, global finance, and the disruptive potential of cryptocurrencies. Whether he's right or wrong remains to be seen, but Arthur's prediction is a reminder that we're living in unprecedented times, and anything is possible in the world of Bitcoin. Now, let's switch gears and talk about Joe McCann, a seasoned investor and the author of the popular newsletter The Technicals. Joe is known for his data-driven approach and his ability to identify both bullish and bearish signals in the market. And right now, Joe is seeing some concerning signs. He points to the recent decline in Bitcoin's dominance, which is the percentage of the total cryptocurrency market capitalization that Bitcoin represents. This decline suggests that capital is flowing into altcoins, which could potentially signal a topping out in Bitcoin's price. Joe is also concerned about the increasing correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market, particularly tech stocks. This correlation makes Bitcoin more susceptible to pullbacks in the traditional markets, which could limit its upside potential. However, despite these bearish signals, Joe is not ready to call for a bear market just yet. In fact, he believes that Bitcoin is still on track to reach $150,000 in the near future. He argues that the fundamental factors driving Bitcoin's adoption, such as its limited supply, its decentralized nature, and its growing use case as a store of value, are still intact. Joe believes that the current market correction is simply a healthy pullback after a period of parabolic growth, and that it presents a buying opportunity for long-term investors. He predicts that once this correction plays out, Bitcoin will resume its upward trajectory and reach new all-time highs. So even though Joe is seeing some warning signs, he remains bullish on Bitcoin's long-term prospects. Last but not least, let's talk about Dave the Wave, a popular technical analyst known for his long-term Bitcoin price predictions based on Fibonacci levels and fractal analysis. Dave has gained a cult following in the crypto community for his accurate prediction of Bitcoin's 2018 bear market bottom, and now he's back with another bold prediction. Dave believes that Bitcoin is currently on track to reach a price of $400,000, but not until the summer of 2025. Yes, you heard that right, $400,000 per Bitcoin, but you'll have to wait a few years to see it. Now, before you dismiss Dave's prediction as crazy talk, let's take a closer look at his analysis. Dave bases his prediction on a combination of Fibonacci retracement levels and fractal analysis. Fibonacci retracement is a technical analysis technique that identifies potential support and resistance levels based on the mathematical sequence discovered by Leonardo Fibonacci in the 13th century. Fractal analysis, on the other hand, looks for repeating patterns in price charts to predict future price movements. According to Dave's analysis, Bitcoin is currently following a fractal pattern that is very similar to the pattern it followed during the 2013 to 2017 bull market. This pattern suggests that Bitcoin is in the early stages of a multi-year bull market that could see it reach prices that were once considered unimaginable. Now I know what you're thinking. Graham, 2025 is a long way off. A lot can happen between now and then. And you're absolutely right. Predicting the price of Bitcoin, or any asset for that matter, is an incredibly difficult task, especially over such a long time frame. So there you have it, 6 top Bitcoin analysts, 6 different approaches, and a wide range of price predictions. From Bitquant's $145,000 target, to Dave the Wave's mind-blowing $400,000 prediction, it's clear that there's no shortage of bullish sentiment in the Bitcoin space. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you which analyst is right or wrong. Frankly, I'm a little skeptical of the super high price targets, especially in the short term. But I'm also bullish on Bitcoin in the medium to long term. I believe in the technology, I see the potential, and I think we're still in the early innings of this game. Ultimately, the best thing you can do is your own research, understand the risks, and invest only what you can afford to lose. And hey, if you want to learn more about identifying those crucial local bottoms that everyone's always talking about, make sure to check out my co-host Josh's latest video. He breaks down his entire strategy step by step so you can start spotting those opportunities like a pro. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next.